Hey guys, it's Jally here, and I'm here to talk to you about Sea of Thieves while we play a little bit with my friends. There's a lot of mixed reviews coming in on Sea of Thieves. I played it during beta, and I'm currently playing the live game too. I thought I'd give my own opinion on the game and what I personally think about it. The first thing I want to say is, I like the game. It's actually fun. I also believe some people kinda miss the point of the game, but wait a second and hear me out. I'm going to get to the parts I dislike, and the parts I dislike have the potential to ruin the game for me. But you need to begin with the positive. Sea of Thieves is a sandbox. The game is what you make of it. Now, there's risks involved with this game. The risk comes with the PvP aspect. This is an open-world PvP game where you have the chance to encounter enemy ships at any time. When you encounter an enemy ship, there's a choice to be made. Do you run? Do you fire on them and hope to win? Do you try and make a truce and split the loot? Of course, the end result of that also depends on the choice your enemies make as well. I actually really enjoy the risk factor. One of the most fun nights I've had so far involved me, Primitive, and a random one-man sloop. He stole our treasure. We spent over 2 hours chasing the guy down. We were engaged in battles, boarded each other's ships, took each other down a number of times, and it all ended with a silly decision on our part that sunk our ship. And we didn't care. We laughed so hard even though we lost our treasure to the sunken ship. It was great. To me, that was time well spent in a game. And I think this is the point that many people are missing in the game. It's the fun of it and the fact that you make your own fun. Whether that's chasing down a ship, engaging in battles, doing voyages, hunting skull forts, hunting for messages in a bottle, treasure, there's a lot that can be done. Now, because of the fact that you make your own gameplay, I think Sea of Thieves is a great game with a ton of potential. The problem is, there are some issues with Sea of Thieves, and there are issues that need to be fixed. The respawn issue is one of the biggest issues I personally see. When you sink an enemy ship, or when they sink you, you or they are going to respawn nearby. You can come back with full resources and sink the other ship. I don't like this. It feels like it's punishing the winning ship for engaging in PvP by giving the enemy an undamaged ship with full resources after a loss. The winning ship is eventually going to run out of resources, while the losing ship keeps coming back unscathed. It's kind of the opposite of what a PvP victory should be. I think the best and easiest way to fix this is by making sunken ships spawn further away. Maybe in another zone, maybe on the other side of the map. But this way, the winning ship is given a full victory and able to sell their loot instead of being punished for winning a PvP battle. I'll give you a really good example of this. We were going for a skull fort, and 3 other ships were going for the same fort. For over 2 hours, we circled the fort and just kept sinking each other. Everybody respawned at the nearest outpost and came right back. There was no actual progression in the battle, and there was no way to really win. It was just a conveyor belt of ships returning with no damage and renewed resources. The battle itself was fun, and we managed to play some music with the other ship's crew, but all 3 ships were getting frustrated with the way the respawn was working. There was no real victory. The other glaring issue is the lack of content and progression. Sea of Thieves doesn't have progression like we're used to, and I'm actually okay with that. I'm 100% okay with the horizontal progression as the developers have described it, but we just need more. Currently, there's a handful of cosmetics available for gold and a legendary status for raising your rep to max. Now, this isn't enough to keep people around. While I have yet to raise my rep to maximum level with any faction, I know there are people who have come really close to it already. I also know of people who have fully decked out their ship already. Now, in order to have good horizontal progression, again, not my words, we need to have more cosmetics, more reputation to gain, more things we can get. I'd actually like to see things that are expensive and difficult to obtain, things that would kind of show everyone, hey, I worked for this. And I also agree with the sentiment that there could be more to the PvE experience. More skeleton crews, maybe skeleton crew ships, maybe merchant ships that you can steal from and actually be a pirate. More difficult bosses and places to go. Currently, the only enemy mobs that you're going to encounter are skeletons and sharks in the ocean. That's it. That's all we've got. Now, there are different kinds of skeletons, but all of them are pretty much skeletons. Now, if this would ever be implemented, that would also mean more islands. Eventually, this map is going to have to expand, or we're going to get very bored with the same islands every single time. For the time being, I actually think Sea of Thieves is pretty good. I think a sandbox game with a focus on PvP is a great idea. Now, right now, there's plenty for new players to do, but that's not going to last forever. However, I have hope. I have hope that the developers are going to address the glaring issues with PvP respawns and the need for more progression. Why do I have hope? Well, just this past weekend, a death tax was going to be introduced to the game. It seemed like the tax would help with the issues in PvP, but players, including me, hated the idea. Before the change was implemented, the developers spoke up and said the death tax was gone and that it would not be put in the game at all. Developer communication like this so early in launch gives me a lot of hope that they're listening to player feedback and changes will be made to the game. Which is why I'm saying I think it's fine to give Sea of Thieves a try. Enjoy the game for what it is, not for what it could be. If you think the issues that I mentioned are too much for you, then hang out for a little bit. I have a feeling they're going to change. And that's just my opinion on Sea of Thieves.